So around this time in history, a child named Chuchart Pitagsakorn was enjoying his early years in Bangkok. Ajahn Chuchart was born in 1934, and he personally met Pracheng Durian. In fact, he grew up attending his concerts. In time, Pracheng Durian became a great source of inspiration for Chuchart. In Ajahn Chuchart's own words, quote, "I paid him homage once or twice a year because I admired him so much. I was not his direct student, but I studied harmony, theory, and oral training from his textbooks. I loved his conducting too. He was certainly my idol." End of quote. The picture one shows a book and dedication. In 1962, Pracheng Durian, impressed by Chuchart's playing and curiosity in learning, invited him to his residency and gave him the book Musical Secrets by Lilias Mäkinen as a gift. The dedication to the then 28-year-old Chuchart reads, "For Mr. Chuchart Pitagsakorn, with best wishes for your advancement in your music education." In spite of the political revolution of 1939, which, with the drawing of the first Thai constitution, changed the political system of Siam from an absolute monarchy to a constitutional monarchy, the interest in Western music and culture kept growing. The new Thai government issued a series of 12 cultural mandates called Rataniyom, which control the cultural practices of the Thai society. The rules include clauses that mandated the westernization of the dressing code and the acceptance of the new Thai national anthem, which was to be composed by Pracheng Durian in Western music style. From mid-20th century, and already under the reign of the current Thai king, Bhumibol Adulyadej Rama IX, who started his reign in 1946, newly formed orchestras and music institutions, such as the Fine Arts Department, went through a great deal of transformation. The military gradually became important in the development of Western music in Thailand. This happened because the Thai Navy, the Air Force, and the Army all established music departments with symphonic orchestras, symphonic bands, military bands, and jazz bands. Chuchart's music experience is directly related to this phenomena, since his father, the person who introduced him to the violin and the harmonium and took him to his first music lessons, was a member of the Navy and used to take Chuchart with him to his job. Because of this early exposure, Chuchart grew up watching up close how orchestras rehearse and perform, and met musicians and conductors, which finally resulted in a long-lasting influence. Later, his first job was, in fact, in the army as a conductor. Chuchart's first music teacher, Ajahn Janjong Dankun, was also a Navy officer. His second teacher, and perhaps his most inspiring Thai violin teacher, was Ajahn Sutin Tesarak. I will now discuss some ideas and influences Ajahn Chuchart absorbed during his studies in Europe, particularly with violin teachers Maxim Jakobsen, Kato Havash, and through his brief encounters with violinist Yehudi Menuhin. Ajahn Chuchart's second most influential violin teacher was Maxim Jakobsen, who was born in 1887 and died in 1973. An Orthodox Jewish violinist from Latvia, who in the early 1930s had become the violin teacher of Mussolini in Italy, later becoming the teacher of Queen Elizabeth in Belgium, as well as her daughters. Because of the war and discrimination against the Jews, Jakobsen had to flee Germany, Italy, and Belgium, finally settling in Portugal. Chuchart met Mr. Jakobsen around 1955 while he was studying at the Blackheath Conservatory in Music in London. Jakobsen went to his school to give a master class, and Chuchart took a private lesson with him and requested to be his private student. Jakobsen accepted him and took him traveling through Europe for 6 months. Chuchart's studies with the Latvian violinist lasted close to 3 years, after which he went on to study at the Royal College of Music and later at the London College of Music, where he obtained a graduate diploma in 1962. Mr. Jacobsen's methodology was focused on the physicality and effectiveness of violin playing. He devised a long series of exercises to develop the violinist's hands, and since Suchard's hands were not very big, he adapted some of the exercises to meet his pupils' needs. Jacobsen wrote several books on technique, paraphrases on etudes by Kreutzer being the most famous, published in English and German. Suchard has described Jacobsen's teaching style as a step-by-step process where the teacher analyzed what needed to be done with the body and the brain. Jacobsen taught him to think in a certain way, which later empowered him to teach himself how to play the viola. I'm going to show picture 2. It shows one of Jacobsen's published books, The Mastery of Violin Playing, and the personal dedication he wrote for Jan Suchard. The dedication reads, "To my very dear friend and pupil, Suchard Pitakhsakhorn." When in 1976, after 17 years working as a musician in the Thai army, Suchard went back to study in London. He did it this time with the prominent Hungarian pedagogue Kato Havas. Studies with Havas went on for 2 intense months with lessons lasting 2 hours, with a frequency of 2 or 3 times a week. Havas' approach was holistic. Her idea was to unify mind, body, and spirit in playing. Her path to achieve a free technique was to demonstrate that problems inherent in string playing could be dealt with through an understanding of inward to outward energy impulses. She stressed the importance of well-being, a healthy mental attitude, and overall balance. And her goal was freeing and preventing players from anxiety and tensions associated with the technical difficulties of the instrument. Studying with Havas allowed Suchard to regain his physical form after so many years in a job that did not require much violin performance. Another great influence that Jan Suchard received in London was not precisely from a violin teacher per se, but from informal encounters with the foremost violinist, Yehudi Menuhin. Menuhin made a very strong and lasting impression on any violinist who saw him play, and the young Suchard was not an exception to the rule. The encounters with Menuhin happened on occasions when the famous violinist visited London for performances. During those brief encounters, Suchard asked him questions about his technique, his shoulder rest, which he had patented but seldom used, and about the benefits of yoga in violin playing. Menuhin's advice to Suchard was very clear: study yoga and you will play better. Suchard practiced Hatha Yoga in London, first through a book and later with Indian yogis at the London Yoga Center. Now I will analyze how specific pedagogic principles Jan Suchard gained abroad were transformed, augmented, and implemented in his teaching and his other professional activities in Thailand. Having had a well-structured student experience while learning the violin was of great significance for Suchard and for the difference he would be able to make in Thailand through his own teaching in future years. Although one might think that working on technique would be standard practice for any string teacher today, it is important to understand that in Thailand during Suchard's youth, there was no system in existence for the learning of string instruments. The distinct methodologies that his teachers Jacobsen and Havas used on him gave him a very powerful tool to educate the future generations of violinists and violists in his home country, as well as to set the base for the development of his own teaching methodology. His yoga practice, for example, enabled him to use yoga principles to teach his pupils about breathing, balance, and concentration techniques. Ajahn Suchart's method of teaching is based mainly on Jacobsen's method, which he combines with the use of scales and exercises from Chepchik, Flesch, Dunis, and Galamian. Ajahn Suchart also uses etudes by Kaiser, Massas, Kreutzer, Fiorillo, Rodet, Dont, Chepchik, and Jacobsen, particularly his paraphrases on the etudes by Kreutzer. For more advanced students, he uses repertory by Vieuxtemps, Wieniawski, Paganini, and Campagnoli for violists. Ajahn Suchart recommends to his students a warm-up sequence based on Tai Chi and Yoga, as recommended to him by Menuhin, followed by Shraddha exercises to warm up the small muscles of the fingers. He also teaches his students how to practice. For example, he might make an emphasis on slow practice and the way to practice to avoid mistakes in playing. Regarding the development of the viola sound, he teaches his students to listen to the cello as a model rather than the violin, since the sound of the cello is closer to the sound of the viola. Ajahn Suchart has also transcribed many works written for violin for the viola and uses them in his viola studio. Finally, I will discuss the importance of Ajahn Suchart's career for the development of Western music in Thailand. First, I will speak about his job in the army, next on becoming a violist, and last about his professional involvement in the wider society. About his job in the army. Ajahn Suchart's teaching has had a great impact on many generations of Thai musicians. His first job was in the army as conductor of the Army Symphonic Orchestra. The orchestra performed repertory that is commonly used in the military, but also included pieces of Western classical music such as Strauss valses, Beethoven symphonies, and chamber music of light character. After 17 years in the army, Suchart attained the rank of colonel. However, he missed performing, and that was the reason he quit the job and went back to London to become a violin student once again. On becoming a violist, Suchart became a violist in the late 1970s, of course, after some colleagues wanted him to join them in a string quartet as a viola player. He instantly fell in love with the instrument. He then applied violin technique to the viola, but soon realized he had to find solutions for specific problems that came up, which are specific to the instrument and its size. It took him 5 years of self-study to feel that he understood how to play the viola. As a natural evolution of his activities as a violist and violin teacher, in 2004, Suchart founded the group known as the Viola Lovers. Noting that the viola was in a way a neglected instrument in Thailand, Suchart decided to promote it. For this, he recruited 24 violists and arranged repertory for the group. The repertory consisted of arrangements of Haydn symphonies, showpieces for the violin, parts of West Side Story, jazz, and Latin American dance music. The group later added 2 double basses, a harp, timpani, and a few Latin American percussion instruments. The Viola Lovers currently performs about 2 or 3 concerts a year, sponsored by Chulalongkorn University. The creation of this group has been of utmost importance for the development of Western music in Thailand. By bringing attention to the viola and placing it under a spotlight, Ajahn Suchart has directly or indirectly helped create demand for the instrument within the Thai society. He has also trained many young violists, some of whom are studying abroad at the moment or play in the viola sections of leading Thai orchestras. About his involvement in universities, symphonic orchestras, and his pupils. Since his involvement with the Army Orchestra, Suchart has participated in academic life by being a teacher at the Royal Navy School of Music and a visiting professor at Chulalongkorn University. He also became the honorary advisor for the Bangkok Symphony and the Thai Philharmonic Orchestra. Other positions included teaching at Mahidol University College of Music and Kasetsart University. until very recently, when he decided to retire from most of his performance activities. Ajahn Suchard was part-time professor of viola at Ramsey University, an artist in residency, and professor of viola at Chulalongkorn University. At Chulalongkorn University, he conducted the symphony orchestra, the chamber orchestra, and the viola lovers ensemble, among others. During his tenure, Ajahn Suchard conducted a number of 20th century works that had never or seldom been heard in Thailand at the time, such as Stravinsky's The Rite of Spring. Currently, Ajahn Suchard's former students perform at all the main musical performance institutions of the country, which include, but are not limited to, the Bangkok Symphony, the Thai Philharmonic Orchestra, the Princess Galiani Institute Orchestra, and they also teach at 5 of the top 6 universities with violin-viola programs in Thailand. His former students are not only violists, but also violinists and conductors. To end this presentation, I will speak about Ajahn Suchard's prizes and distinctions and about his legacy. Prizes and distinctions. Throughout his long and productive career, Ajahn Suchard has received many prizes. Most notably, he was awarded the Golden Record by His Majesty, the King of Thailand, for being an outstanding conductor and arranger. This picture shows Ajahn Suchard receiving the Golden Record Award in 1981 from the hands of the King of Thailand. He also received the Silver Cross of Merit in 1999 for his distinguished service promoting Austrian music in Thailand, given by Austrian President Franz Jonas, and was honored with an honorary doctorate in music education from Chulalongkorn University in 2011. Finally, Ajahn Suchard received in 2010 the most prestigious prize that a Thai artist in Thailand can aspire to, the National Artist Prize, which is given by Princess Maha Chakri Sirindorn. This prize is given once a year to selected artists in the fields of literature, the visual arts, Thai classical dance, and music. This picture shows Ajahn Suchard receiving the National Thai Artist Prize in 2010. Legacy. When I asked Ajahn Suchard what he is most proud about and how he would like to be remembered, he told me, and this will be all in his own words, open quote, "Looking back at over 50 years during which I have taught violin, viola, harmony, counterpoint, orchestration, conducting, and oral training, I am most happy to have trained hundreds of good musicians, violinists, violists, conductors, music teachers, all of whom have contributed much to the development of Western music in Thailand. I am very proud to have been appointed Thai National Artist and an artist in residency at Chulalongkorn University. I am very proud that I was awarded the Golden Record by His Majesty the King of Thailand and the Silver Cross of Merit from the Republic of Austria by President Franz Jonas. I am proud to have been awarded an honorary doctorate degree in music education from Chulalongkorn University. I am very proud and happy to have founded the Viola Lovers, consisting of 24 violas and percussion. This ensemble is now very popular. I'd like to be remembered as a violin and viola teacher, as a conductor, and as an arranger. This picture shows Ajahn Suchard conducting and performing with his group, the Viola Lovers, in 2011. That was around the year when I met Ajahn Suchard. So that's all. Thank you, Ajahn Suchard, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much. Dr. Yars, for such wonderful primary sources that you brought us to firstly see it. And with the permission from Ajahn Chuchat, could you please give a big hand to Ajahn Chuchat one more time?
The professor asked me to say something. It is very difficult for me. It's easier to play.
For me too, Ajahn. For me too. This is very hard.
Because we still have some few more minutes left, and it's our honor for all of us here to witness that Ajahn Chuchat Pitaksakon coming to visit us. So I am so sorry that I didn't ask you before, but if you wouldn't mind, a few couple of sentences will inspire all of us all together at once. Thank you.
As a teacher, I believe in slow practice, because if we practice fast, we make mistakes, and if we repeat the mistakes, we are finished. So the secret of practice is not to make mistakes. How? By slow practice. When you can use the mind, I mean every single movement, you have to have the mind controlling the body. If you want to say something, you have to think what you have to do. You have to hear it inside and realize the sound that you hear inside. Don't let the hand play without your control. You have to control. You have to be the master. And these are your slaves. You're the master. I order them to play. They must play. And I believe in doing all the gymnastics, because especially when you get older, everything becomes so difficult, more difficult to move. So if you have the gymnastics, you can go a long way. Let me show you just one or two. This comes from Chinese boxing, called throwing the poisonous needle. So in fighting in the old times, they have needle here, and they just. I learned this one from my Chinese teacher, and I use it for my own use. I play the piano too, but not so good. So I try to do this one. Just like that. Why? Why is it good? Because by doing so, we develop the extensor group of muscle. We have flexor and extensor, Ajahn Paul. If you play the piano, this you use flexor and this extensor. If I notice that when we make mistake, it's not that we press the finger down too slow, no. Actually, we can't, we make mistake because we can't lift it fast enough. Because in downward movement, you have the gravity to help you, right? But to lift the finger fast, you use another set of muscles. This is the Chinese one. Coming back, relaxing. And very springy when you go out. do it 10 times, for example.
Thank you so very much ขอบพระคุณค่ะอาจารย์ What a wonderful knowledge and everything to gain in such a short time. Thank you so very
Yes.
much. Does anyone have a question to give to Dr.
Or to Ajahn Suchard. Diffusing the attention.
So we still have few more minutes
Do you have
to
any
practice.
question? Any question about the presentation or about Ajahn Suchard?
ครับ
สำหรับอาจารย์ในการเป็นครูดนตรีอะครับสิ่งสำคัญที่สุดที่จะสอนเด็กคนหนึ่งอะครับผมหรือว่าเป็นทั้งกลุ่ม อาจารย์คิดว่าการเป็นตลอดชีวิตของอาจารย์แบบที่เป็นสิ่งไหนสำคัญที่สุด
Could you translate?
Yeah, he was asking about what is the most important factor in terms of being a good music teacher from his lifelong experience of teaching.
คือผมขอจำกัดการเรียนการสอนเนี่ยเป็นสอนเครื่องมือผมไม่พูดถึงการสอนฮาร์โมนีหรือเข้าสะพอยหรืออะไรต่างๆสอนเครื่องมือจริงๆเลยอินสตรูเมนต์ใช้นั่งกันนะฮะทีนี้พอสอนเครื่องมือแล้วเนี่ยผมจะสอนเดี่ยวสอนทีละคนทำไมต้องสอนทีละคนเพราะว่าปัญหาก็คือว่าแต่ละคนเนี่ยฟิสิกส์เนี่ยร่างกายนี่ไม่เท่ากันบางคนสูงบางคนเตี้ยบางคนอ้วนบางคนผอมบางคนนิ้วยาวบางคนนิ้วสั้นอะไรต่างๆเนี่ยตอนนี้เราจะมีสูตรสำเร็จไม่ได้ว่ามี one and only one theory of playing no ผมเอาลูกศิษย์เนี่ยเป็นตัวตั้งแล้วผมสร้างเทคนิคเนี่ยรอบๆเขาเพราะนั้นบางทีลูกศิษย์4 คนมาเรียนแต่เรียนทีละคนนะ4 คนเรียนเนี่ยผมอาจจะสอน4 อย่างเพราะว่านอกจากว่าทางฟิสิกส์เนี่ยเราไม่เท่ากันแล้วเนี่ยทางด้าน psychology เนี่ยยังไม่เหมือนกันอีกบางคนนี่ชอบเพลงหวานๆมาบางคนชอบเพลงดุๆบางคนก็ไม่ค่อยชอบสเกลเท่าไหร่บางคนก็ชอบอะไรเงี้ยทีนี้เราต้องตรงนี้ให้ดูเขาเนี่ยเราสร้างหลักสูตรให้เขาไม่ใช่เรามีหลักสูตรเดียวแล้วก็มีเสื้อตัวเดียวแล้วใส่ไปหมดทุกคนผมว่าอันนี้สำคัญมากแล้วทุกครั้งที่เราสอนเขาเนี่ยมันเป็นการเดินทางค้นหาร่วมกันผมไม่เชื่อในการที่บอกว่าต้องทำนี้ตรงนี้อะไรเงี้ยเดี๋ยวลองทำไม่ได้ใช่ไหมมาค้นกันไหมว่ามันเป็นยังไงแล้วก็หาว่าส่วนไหนที่เราทำไม่ได้สมมติว่านิ้วมันไม่คล่องนิ้วคุณไม่คล่องก็คุณทำนี้หน่อยดีไหมอะไรเงี้ยที่เป็นตัวอย่างเล็กน้อยให้มันมีการบริหารนิ้วบ้างอะไรต่างๆเนี่ยนะฮะนี่บางคนไม่เคยทำเอ็กซ์ไซส์เลยมาตัวแข็งอะไรเนี่ยเราจะให้เขาไปเล่นเอ็กซ์ไซส์ทำไมทำไม่ได้อะไรเพราะเขาทำไม่ได้อะทำไม่ได้เพราะอะไรเพราะร่างกายเขาเขายึดทำไมไม่ให้เขาทำมาสักนิดๆหน่อยๆแล้วอะไรต่างๆเนี้ยนะฮะเดี๋ยวเขาจะเรียนแหละผมใช้โยคะเยอะมากนะฮะก็ให้ข้อคิดไว้เนี่ยคือคุณจะมีสูตรเดียวมีทุกสูตรแล้วก็เลือกให้เหมาะกับคนนั้น
Thank you so much. Just to be in short, the professor focused on the process of using student center so that we both student and the teacher goes along the journey of learning and teaching and instruction. Therefore, if any problems occur, there is each specific solution for each individual, and that is the most important style and technique for teaching studio classes. Just to be short. But sorry if some details has been missing, but we are running out of time. But please give a big applause, and we will have our session. We have a picture of we are doing something like this on the website, which is much more fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Aliane. Thank you so much.